So tell me about what happened.
It was at night. I was reading at night really late to read some folklore. And I heard some tapping at my door, which was slightly weird because I don't get many visitors anymore. I remember it was a snowy day in December, and I was waiting for the day to end, and I was trying to lose myself in books so I wouldn't have to think about my lost Lenore.
And how did that affect you?
Well, every little sound was making me jump, even the rustling of the curtains, you know? So in order to calm myself, because at that point my heart was beating really fast, I kept telling myself actually that it was just a visitor.
I see.
Thank you. So I was getting more and more confident that it was just someone knocking at my door. So I told whoever was there that I was so sorry that I was napping, and that the sound of their tapping was so faint that I wasn't sure whether someone was really there. And so, but when I went to open the door, there was nothing, just darkness and nothing more. I stood there for a while, peering into the darkness. I was hoping and dreaming for something that was totally impossible. But the darkness stayed still, and it stayed as normal as ever. Nothing has changed. But I had to make sure, and so I whispered, "Lenore."
Lenore.
But nothing but the echo answered me.
What happened after that? Did you go back into your chamber?
Well, yeah, I did go back inside, and I was feeling slightly embarrassed, you know.
I understand.
But then I heard a louder tap, and I thought, well, if it didn't come from my door, then it has to be from my window. And so I started freaking out again, obviously, because that's a pretty weird occurrence.
Yeah.
And I took a moment to let my heart go back to a normal rate. Then I told myself that it had to be the wind.
So what did you do? Did you go check the window?
Well, yeah, I went to open it, and when I opened it, this really big raven stepped in, and it flew above my chamber door to rest on this bust of Palace I had.
What's a bust of Palace?
And so I thought that this appearance was quite unusual, because the raven didn't seem like your everyday raven. It seemed superior in some unknown way.
Okay.
Yeah. So I felt compelled for some reason, I'll never know why, but I felt compelled to talk to it and ask where it came from and what was its name. So the bird answered, "Nevermore."
Answered?
Yeah, I did. I know it's really weird, but it did. And its voice was pretty clear too. I know that the answer holds no meaning, but
Nevermore.
I think you'll agree with me that it's not often that you hear about, first off, a bird flying into someone's home,
No.
and second off, the bird being named Nevermore.
What happened next?
Well, the bird sat very still for a few moments, and it didn't say anything else until I started muttering about how my friends had all left me and how the bird would probably lead me to in the morning, just like my hopes. And that was when the bird said "Nevermore."
Again, okay.
And so I was really surprised that the bird had spoken again, but I just told myself that it was probably just a memory that the bird had talked from its past master. Probably that the master had been very sad and had spoken that word a lot, or something along those lines. And that's all he could say, "Nevermore." So I started to love the bird because, you know, that was quite entertaining.
Yeah.
And I tried to find the meaning of what the bird said by "Nevermore." So I sat there in silence for a while. I was getting comfortable and I let my mind wander. And eventually I started thinking about Lenore again. And I thought about how she would never get to experience something like that.
So even though you tried to forget about Lenore, she was always in the back of your mind, you say?
Yeah, it was because of the bird.
The bird.
You see, after I started thinking about Lenore, the air started to get denser, and I felt this presence. It was practically angelic, and that's when I understood that the bird was sent by God, because he doesn't want me to forget about Lenore. He wants me to be like sick by grief for my whole life, you see.
Okay.
And when I told the bird that, he said, nevermore.
So you think the bird was sent by God?
Well, at this point, I wasn't sure, and at a certain degree, I didn't really care if it was a bird sent by God, or the devil, or a prophet, or just a normal bird. I just wanted it to tell me if I would ever see Lenore in the afterlife, in heaven. But the bird told me nevermore. So I was kind of feeling down, but I still asked it again. Will I at least find peace in the afterlife? But the bird said once again, nevermore. So I started getting really angry at the bird, and I told it to go back from where I came from, you know, hell, and to leave no trace of its passage, because I did not want to remember it. No plume, no anything. I didn't want to have anything to do with the raven. But then again, it stayed and it said nevermore.
So you were angry at the bird?
Well, yes, because I asked it to leave, but it didn't. It stayed, and it's actually still there above my chamber door. And seeing it reminds me of Lenore so much, and I just want to get rid of those memories. And I just wish it would go, you know. But I can't do this anymore.
Thank you for coming here so I can interview you.
It's nothing really. Yeah.